Læknirinn Edzard Ernst með fyrstu prófessorum í hjálækningum og óhefðbundnum lækningum. Hann hafði mikla trú á smáskammtalækningum en eftir því sem hann rannsakaði óhefðbundnar lækningar meira varð hann þeim afhuga. Nú telur hann að sumar þeirra geti jafnvel verið hættulegar. Hann hefur meðal annars lent í deilum við Karl Bretaprins vegna skrifa sinna. Ernst var gestur á málþingi lækna á dögunum og Margrét Erla Mock hitt hann þar.
Even as a child, I was quite familiar with alternative medicine. Our family doctor, for instance, was a homeopath. My father was a doctor. He also practiced a little bit of homeopathy. And in Germany, where I grew up, that was quite normal. Then I decided to study medicine, where we didn't learn very much about alternative medicine. And by coincidence, my first job as a very junior doctor was in the only homeopathic hospital in Germany. So there I learned homeopathy, I learned also other alternative techniques. And I thought it was very interesting. I was initially very impressed with what we could achieve with these techniques. Later I became a scientist. I did a PhD in some basic research subject. And I began to see things differently. And then when I was appointed in '93, 20 years ago, in Exeter, to do the research in this subject, I felt I had to leave my own impressions, my own expectations behind and just try to be a scientist and try to be as objective as possible.
You've written a lot about the dangers of alternative medicine. Is it dangerous?
The biggest risk probably is an indirect risk. Even if the treatment itself is totally harmless, if we use it for something serious, like for instance a cancer, and use it instead of cancer treatment, proper cancer treatment, then we are clearly not going to receive effective treatment for the cancer, which means we are losing the opportunity to treat it, and we would hasten death in extreme cases. Another way of causing harm with alternative treatment would be, for instance, chiropractic, where we know that lots of complications can occur when the upper spine is manipulated. People can suffer a stroke, can even die of spinal manipulation of the upper spine. So there are plenty of such cases being described, but probably underreporting is huge. People don't report this in the medical literature. There's no recording mechanism, there's no surveillance system, and therefore we probably only know the tip of the iceberg.
Your partner, Dr. Singh, he was sued by the British Chiropractic Association for his comments on chiropractors.
Yes, that was quite spectacular. He wrote an article in the Guardian British newspaper alerting the readers to the fact that the British Chiropractic Association was promoting chiropractic for all sorts of childhood conditions for which there clearly was no evidence at all. And he wrote this famous sentence, they are promoting bogus treatments, they are happily promoting bogus treatments. They took offense and they sued him for libel, him personally, not the Guardian, which would have been more usual, but him personally. And it took 2 years, £40,000, which is a lot of money in legal cost, and to defeat them.
Has this case changed the outlook of the public on alternative medicine?
I think it was an eye-opener to many people who have a liking for alternative medicine, that not everything that is natural also is safe.
I read in The Guardian also that you yourself have received lots of hate mail for your research and articles. Is that true?
Yes. From all sorts of sources, where if I publish something positive about alternative medicine, let's say that a herbal remedy works quite well for helping people with depression, I get pretty nasty mail from people who don't think this is true, who are quackbusters, who have something in principle against alternative medicine. If, and this is much more often the case, I find with my research that treatment X doesn't work for condition Y, I get a lot of hate mail from the proponents of that treatment. And again, the chiropractors stand out because they have been pursuing me for as long as I've been doing that research. In English, we have a saying, they would say that, wouldn't they? Because they're defending their own little patch for the obvious reason.
Your job has also been at risk at some point, and one member of parliament suggested that you were locked up in the Tower of London.
Well, in Britain, we have the royal family, and the royal family traditionally has been very strong advocates for all sorts of alternative things, in particular homeopathy. This is where confrontations began, particularly with Prince Charles, who is in favor of all sorts of alternative treatments. And at one stage he complained to my vice-chancellor, and they investigated me, and it was really quite unpleasant for me for 13 months. Yes, I had very public battles with Prince Charles. I didn't shy away from these battles, but he did manage to put me into early retirement. I retired earlier than I should have normally retired, simply because all support, even from my own university, broke down, and my department was dissolved.
We've spoken a lot of homeopathy and chiropractors. You've also written about Reiki treatments that, well, one would think were harmless.
Some treatments, like mind-body treatments, Reiki, which is a sort of healing with energy, with presumed energy, one would think can only do good, and if it doesn't do any good, then it cannot do any harm. I beg to differ. This is, in my view, clearly not true, because, as I said already, if it replaces effective treatment, then it can do a lot of harm. It can even kill people under these circumstances. But people are not being told the truth about it. The press, the journalists, the internet, they all seem to work together so that people are getting really very, very confused, for instance, about natural being harmless, about this or that being effective, etc., etc. And people then are misled and make the wrong therapeutic decisions. They may decide, I have a cancer, the cancer treatments that I'm being offered are horrible, I will lose quality of life and so forth. So I go to a Reiki healer who says, I don't need all this, with Reiki I'll be fine. But in effect, that person won't be fine, that person will be dead. If we believe in magic hocus pocus, then we undermine the rational thinking in much more general terms, not just in healthcare, but in general terms. And we believe in hocus pocus in general terms. In other words, nonsense undermines rationality, and that is harm to society, not just to medicine.
Og þar með